Hello everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live. Alright, I see we already have Alessandra in the Behance. Hello. Thanks for tuning in. Just been battling with my computer. Anybody else find the tech a little bit cranky today? I've been trying to update my shop with all the inventory, and it keeps telling me I'm sold out of everything, so that's super awesome. I love the technology. It's my favorite. Alrighty, just making sure everything is all set up here. Yeah, still not. Alright, that's a tomorrow problem. I will not stress about that now. Happy Earth Day to everybody. Enjoy this wonderful planet. I used to do that like Earth Hour. I don't know if people still do that, where you turn everything off and just kind of sit quietly and read a book and by candlelight or something and don't use the technologies or drive for a little bit. I haven't heard of people doing that in a while, but it was a good time. Okay, so since last time, you can see I've made a little bit more progress. I added the background and I colored our twin brother in the chair. We only had the little girl and the kittens colored the first time. Last time we were here. So I took all the textures that we did and kind of carried it out through the rest of the illustration. I want the background to be pretty vague. I didn't want it to be very detailed. I kind of want to get a good layering effect. So I think pushing it to the back with lots of dark tones and things helps that. And then I'm going to have to create a separation between the little girl and the boy a little bit, just to give kind of 3 layers of depth happening. Now I had an idea. Okay, well, I'll show you what else I've done first, and then we'll kind of go with my idea. I also started playing around with some of the shadows. So here's what we have so far. Trying to kind of replicate that style that I was trying to build with the that I found using Firefly. It's getting a little papery, but I think that's okay. And then we're going to kind of figure out, get some shadows in her hair today, and then hopefully start experimenting with how we want the stained glass look to go, because I don't want to do each individual piece, but it's kind of like how we're going to do that and kind of create that effect. Excuse me. Without taking over, because it's going to be small. It needs to be little, so I don't want it to get too busy because we won't see what's happening. I want it to be very clear what's going on. Now, I did have an idea earlier. Would be nice boy, please. Thank you. Nope, we're going to be nice boy. There's no one there. You're okay. I was going through a bunch of my reference illustrations and photos and all that kind of stuff. As I see something that kind of is night circus-y to me, I would save it knowing that this project was in my back pocket. And I found one which was kind of fun, and it was a little kitten with a little top hat on. It was so cute. So I wonder if I can get one of these little guys to have a top hat on. So let's try this first. I think this one kind of who's just chilling here. Oh, that's how I wanted. I want my pencil brush. So I don't know if we kind of put his... Okay, are you gonna play the game there? Oh, the technology is just testing me in all kinds of ways today, guys. Holy. Okay. Are we going to draw on the thing? Oh, it's because it's behind the layer. That's why. It wasn't working. Then maybe we kind of have a little tiny kitten top hat over one ear, maybe. No, thank you. Or maybe it's, I don't know if that, something like that. Oh, we also have D in the chat. Hello, D. All right, running a small experiment here. I kind of like the idea of a little tiny top hat on top of this kitten. This is delayed reaction, so I'm going to play with that in my head a little bit. I had found a photo reference that had the cat with the top hat on, and I didn't put it in the illustration. And there's not really like a pile of opportunity for these kittens to be in the tarot. So like this would kind of be the only time we might see them. But maybe I can just put one in and we'll see. I won't play around with that too much because it would take a lot of erasing and manipulating, but it's just an idea I had and remembered this afternoon. So I'll percolate on this a little bit later. I'll just hide that away and we will come back to it later. D says, this looks cool. Love the textures. Thank you so much. And Alessandra says, I agree. This looks great. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're back to the paper patterns here, which I find give a lot of life to the illustration. And I'm happy to be back to them. So I did go through and add all of our black and whites, and I did start adding some of our shadows, getting that kind of paper, it's going to be paper stained glass kind of effect in my head. So before we move on to kind of getting the tiny details in, I'm going to start putting some shadows in her hair. So all the shadows I put in yesterday, I put underneath our kind of hue adjustment layer that you can see there. That's the black one with the box in it. So any color, like I picked a gray brush, but if there happened to be any color in it, it would have desaturated it, keeping it black and white. So now putting it onto the color layer in her hair, I'm just going to be careful to make sure that the shadows are just on her hair. Otherwise, we're going to have this kind of like browny reddish tone over the black and white, and that's just not going to look any good. Hey RB, welcome to the stream. So we're going to put a layer on top of the red, and we're going to use our multiply layer. And then we're going to go into our fancy palettes that Fresco creates for us as we add these things to our illustration. So the tarot pattern 2 that you see there, that thing I think is kind of our more orangey one. There's not as many tones in that. I think we're going to go with tarot pattern 7 because there's a lot more range in that one. There's some kind of like filigree around the edges that isn't showing here. So I'm going to use some of that, I think, just to make sure that we have the right color. And by using this palette, I am using colors that are actually in these, so it won't be too brown or too whatever. It's going to match what those paper patterns have. So I'm going to start with this one and just see how it looks. Oh, switch over to my soft brush here. And if we keep going, it kind of darkens up. Okay, that might be okay. So this is definitely going to be a different element in that I only want this red to be on the red hair. I don't want it to go out into the black and white scene. So definitely going to be something we have to be a little careful of while we're building this. So I'm going to lasso this out so I don't have any lingering color on the outside edges. Oops. So I chose my light source as the top left again. It's usually just kind of where my brain kind of automatically puts the light source. So rather than fight it in this kind of experimental piece, I thought I would go with what I felt naturally. Poo. Okay, we'll do the shadow first. We're doing 2 shadows at once here. So I'm going to do this side, but then we also have to do under her face as well. Okay, and then I'll do this one. Now that I've added more of the patterns to the full piece, I feel like this is a little less creepy than it was coming across last week. Kind of gave a horror movie vibe a little bit with the cold gray against the red, but I think it's warming up quite a bit. So I'm very happy about that. I was looking at some other cards as well this week, so I want to try and see how far we get on this one, but then I think I'd like to try starting another card maybe next week. And I was thinking today, if I have like 3 or so cards of kind of different subject matter, then I'm going to try putting them into like a palette, like a final piece with the card border and all that kind of fun stuff in it, but that will be a few weeks away for us still, because I want to do like a tent that doesn't really have people in it, and then I want to do maybe a major arcana card, just to kind of cut like at least a card in color, because a tent would be black and white, but at least one that's in color, so that I have a bit of a variety, and then I can have a good sample for putting the card border and all that kind of fun stuff in with, and make sure it works for all the cards before I get too deep. So we're just gonna clean up these edges that I'm going to forget are here. Okay. Oops, try again. Okay, and a little bit over here. Shadows are a little bit crazy. I was getting a little out of control yesterday because like okay, I'm gonna go to bed. Oh wait, I see the shadow here. I'm gonna forget about that one. Okay, now I'm gonna go to bed. One more shadow. One more shadow. I don't think there'd really be one there, but we'll put it in. Alrighty. Here, a piece here. A little separation here. There we go. Oops, okay, be careful with that. Okay. There wouldn't really be a shadow here, but like I said, we're just gonna create some separation. Use my artistic license. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot, just enough to kind of separate it to show there's like a different section of hair. Shoot. Oops. So I'm gonna move up to his hair. He won't have too many. Alrighty, so I'm gonna see, do I have the reference? I took a screenshot of it yesterday. I thought, oh, maybe I don't. How silly. Okay, this is what I wanted. Okay, so this is kind of my photo inspiration images. Not really photo anything. They're from Firefly. So we have some shadows, and then I want to do some highlights as well, I guess. So we're going to save for a minute. Odari's here. Hello, Odari. Okay, so let me think for a minute. This is where the experimentation comes in, because I don't really know. So let's see. While we're working on the red section, let's create an overlay layer to lighten up the effect. Now, okay, so see, this is where I'm a little less certain, so it makes it scary and I want to stop. So we're going to keep going so that I don't do that, because I'm just getting momentum on this piece and I don't want to stop. I'm going to get a brush to be a little bigger. What if we did more of a no, I don't like that. Luckily this is all on one layer, so we can play around with it a bit if we want to. 50's too big. don't know. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go back to my shadows because I'm just not really super stoked about what was coming out there. So we're going to go to something I do know that needs some work. Just some shadows here that I missed yesterday. It's more focused on the clothing and such. Holy, okay. Oh, we're here with Adobe too. Hi, Adobe. Don't know if I missed the check marks, but I saw that they were here. Hello, everybody. All right. So yeah, the good part about like kind of a bigger piece like this, if I'm not really stoked about what's coming out, there's another place to go. To work a little bit until we can figure it out. I didn't create too much interaction with the background just yet. I wasn't too sure how I was going to handle it, but I think we do need some of this kind of interaction with the ground, kind of showing that going on. I think that's just a little different from my pieces I've done in the past. Usually there's no background. Just getting some of this cleared out and fleshed out a little bit will help hopefully guide where I want the highlights and stuff to go. Oh dear. Almost done this here. Nice, good boy. So what's everybody working on tonight? Maybe sketching. I was working on my shop and market prep, but then my website decided to stop updating the stock, so I got frustrated and decided to come hang out with you lovely people instead. I'll try again tomorrow. Looks great so far. Thanks, O'Dary. Okay. Now Alessandra's working on her comic. O'Dari's cooking dinner. Lovely. Busy group. Oh, future me's gonna be pissed. I should have been more careful with this. Is this the comic, Alessandra, that you are doing digitally? Or are you doing it by hand first still? I can't remember. Why? All right. So bad. Excellent. She's did it traditionally and is now going to color it. Doing it on the iPad. Excellent choice. I think that is a great idea. Okie dokie. Now, can I see the photos again? It's hard because these aren't really fleshed out as much. Like I was kind of using this kind of creepy face in the bottom for the shadow ideas, but there's not really a pile of highlights. So I was gonna try and maybe go and do what I've been doing on past pieces. And oops, kind of throw that highlight in there a little bit. You know what, it's on its own layer. Let's just throw some of it down here and see how it comes out. Because I don't want it to be too... I lost my train of thought. And I like that harder edge. I like that better. Does that improve what we're looking at? Yeah, it does. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because I gave it that soft edge, I didn't really like it. So rather than clean it up, I'm just going to clear this out and try again. I'm going to throw in some colors here like this. And then with the harsher brush, create that kind of outline that we had on the stained glass piece before. But just kind of treat the whole section of hair rather than the individual pieces. And I think I'm just going to kind of highlight some of the individual pieces. To show that it give the effect, but not make it too busy of an illustration. Okay. This illustration is already busy. Thanks, RB. Yeah, there's a lot happening in here, but I just don't want to. Tadmore won't do any harm. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, there's a lot going on in here, but like the thing is, like, it's this big right now, but it's going to be like this big when it's printed. Again, I'm assuming the size of the monitor that you're using, but it's going to be pretty little. So I think if I did every tiny little piece, like I did for the dragon and the kraken, I think I might be asking a lot of my viewers. I want them to like looking at my art, not get a headache. Busy is good. All right, fair enough. All right, we'll start carefully building this up then. Thanks, gentlemen. Oh, passports and visiting Canada. Would recommend. It's a fun place. I gotta get my passport sorted out too, so I can travel things. Yeah, the final result's going to be small. I wanted to kind of start big so that I had enough detail, because I find if I work small initially, I'm going to kind of, I wasn't going to get the level of detail I was interested in receiving, but that's why I'm opting not to render each individual kind of glass section, because I think that will definitely get lost. So I still want to have the effect without putting too much effort into things that are going to get lost eventually. And I also kind of want to be able to have each piece, because the idea is a tarot deck, but if it doesn't work out that way, like if it doesn't come together, each piece I'd still like to be able to use. So these won't be wall hangings, it's a 6x9, but versatility is the goal here. So actually I'm going to pull this up, because I realized just last night that I didn't talk about what the actual card is about. So this one is it's the 10 of circus in this deck, but normally it'd be coins or pentacles depending on the card deck you read. And the history, like the kind of meaning behind it, there's lots of different meanings and stuff, but the ones that made me decide to do this was it's usually like a sense of accomplishment, a stable home environment, and possible committed for in a long-term relationship. So these children were actually born in the circus, and it's kind of like a lifetime thing. Their parents or performers in the circus, so just kind of a lifetime commitment to that endeavor and that kind of career, I guess. It reflects permanence and creating a lasting foundation for future success, consistent approaches, and your work kind of brings you deep joy and satisfaction, and it also brings you satisfaction to see your loved ones enjoy your wealth and abundance. It's also a sign of family, and so family is kind of a really big deal with this, with the circus. Happy with your home life and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of stuff that brought me to do the twins, because like the circus is their family, like they're born the night the circus opens, so it's all their family. So, and then these kittens are their way to perform with their parents and things, so that's why I chose the kittens to be this card in the deck. I wanted the twins, Poppet and Widget, to be in this card with the kittens, but then I recently, on one of my rereads, was reading this, this scene, and they're, I think I mentioned last week, they're at a party, and it's when they're gifted these kittens, and so they're just starting to train them and kind of interact with them a little bit. So I thought it was a pretty good one, and like a way to show some scenes outside of the circus, because there's going to be a lot within it. So this is an opportunity. I was going to initially show them as kind of, because they perform kind of in between tents, almost like a busking kind of approach. So I was going to show them like that way, but I think this is a really good way to show some other scenes and opportunities for some of these characters because they're going to be in the circus a lot. Oops. What's the matter? What's the matter? Okay. Not too bad. Hello. Do you want to see the peoples? There. There's a mojo. There we go. Now you can sit with me. That's a good boy. Oh my gosh. Yes. Everybody says hello, buddy. He made lots of friends this weekend. We went downtown to scout out the market space I'm going to be in. He made lots of friends. Well, people liked him from afar. Alrighty. So something to keep in mind for myself really here is like I usually don't love the start of the highlights in almost any of my stained glass pieces because it's so there's so much contrast to the shadows I already have in place. So it will warm up. It'll warm up a little bit as we keep going. So actually, if we throw in some highlights now onto the dark part, like the black and white, I think that'll really help here. Okay. What is this? What is this? All right, I'm stealing it. Overlay layer. And we'll just do, I don't know that this is going to work. No, see, that's going to be too dark. We're going to go with, do I want to go full white? Probably, eh? Or do you want to do like a, probably not full white, eh? Yeah, we won't go full white. Let's clear that layer because I definitely made a lot of what the. Is there nothing on it? Is that why? Ah, there we go. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so let's start throwing some of the lighter bits onto some of this black and white section. And again, this is all underneath the hue saturation layer, like the adjustment layer that we put in last week. So even if this happened to be a bit of the color in here, or like a more bluish gray, or get some of the red in there somehow, it would still come out full black and white because I took all the saturation out of it and it's impacting what's below it. So we're going to be fine to do that. This is not a, I thought it wasn't. Thought I did it there. Oh, poo. Okay. Okay, one thing at a time here. I thought it was covering up too much of my pattern, so I forgot the overlay got turned off in my undos. Which makes a lot more sense, because I didn't think that that highlight on the leg made any sense at all. Definitely need some shadows under that hat for sure. There's definitely no light going in there underneath. Oops, there's a multiply on that. That's confusing. Okay. What's the matter? Why are we sad, man? Here, come sit with me. Come sit with me. You're a good boy. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Nice boy. Just chill out, homie. Do you want down? Can you be a nice boy, please? Okay? Good boy. Oh my goodness. Huh. Okay. It's hard on some of the lighter grays to put in a highlight because it's so subtle, and again that might just get lost like when I zoom out, although it kind of enhances the ones I put in. Okay, what I'd really like to do is kind of explore some of the sections a little more, so I'm going to add another layer. And go with, let's start with the overlay instead of starting with the multiply. And I'm going to do I'll start soft brush. It's all part of the experiment, guys. I appreciate you hanging in. Maybe not overlay, maybe just normal. Experimental drawing, nice. Yeah. It's what these lives are for. Maybe a little bigger. Okay, I like the thicker brush better, so we're just going to try that again. Whoops. We have Angie in the chat. Hi, Angie. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, and if I do a multiply, yeah, see if we can do Okay, keep going. 10 more minutes, remember. Oh my gosh, actually 10 more minutes. I was just doing the 10 more minutes to kind of experiment and see how this is going to come together. Make sure I gave it its due, but I actually only have 10 more minutes in the stream. Freaking crazy. Oh, looks fantastic. Oh, thanks, Odari. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure how this is coming together. I don't know whether we need Oops, that's the erase tool. Oh, we have Maria here. Hey, thanks for tuning in. For coming back. I think you were here last week, yeah? That's exciting. I just wonder if maybe just the lines aren't... Something's not clicking. I don't know what the heck it is. Oops, too aggressive. I just wonder if like it being kind of like a line is just... We need to give it a little bit more. And then maybe if I give this a little more. I'm afraid because I really like this line. Let's be careful. Oh. I don't know. This is the part I wasn't sure about. So we all knew this was going to happen at some point, but if we're not learning from the illustrations, then why are we doing that? can't believe how fast time flew by. I agree. It's been kind of like a slow motion day until like right now. Oh dear. Okay. That's still the eraser tool, Erin. Come on. What if I did something ridiculous? No, that's so silly. Absolutely not. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. Just this one. But that's still not what I wanted to do. Okay, never mind. All right. I'll be with you now. I kind of like the effect we're getting kind of on the bun in the back of her hair a little bit. There's something a little off about this front one, and I think it might be because it's set to normal. We don't want to multiply. Okay, can we? Thank you. It's a little more subtle if we do the overlay. Because then maybe we could, oops, not that one. I don't want it to be too crazy. Color burn. Overlay to normal. Okay, I don't mind that because it's giving it just kind of a little bit more shape. Without being too much. Okay, I don't dislike that. So maybe we'll go back in. So if I go in and do a little bit more here. And then maybe like a little bit here. I think this one's a little too harsh, so we're going to take that out for now. Okay. I think that's kind of getting where I want it to go. And then I'm gonna have to try a similar effect on the black and white. Like, we don't have a lot of sections broken down. I'd have to break out down the chair a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy with the chair. And then there's like her skirt and her vest and his hat, things like that I would do this kind of breakdown on. I'm kind of liking the fiery look that we're slowly getting here, so I'm going to try and continue. Oh, it's in the wrong thing. So sorry. All right, RB's out. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I see you next week. Thanks, RB. We're almost done here anyway. You won't miss much. It's when the masterpiece completes itself. Okay, I'll do a couple more in here and then we'll still the eraser, Erin. Come on. Sheesh. Not really loving that one. I think that'll be kind of a choice of like the shadows kind of being more okay. The shadows might be in more of the darker areas of the space. Okay, I think I'm having a small epiphany here. Okay, so just let's turn these off. So we see like at the top of her hair, like we threw in those bigger highlights. So maybe I just put highlights in that section and I should put in some low lights in the bigger sections and only low lights should go in those sections. Does that make sense? So if I do another multiply, and then, because like I did some shadows in a highlight section and it kind of created a color burn that I didn't love. So if I do a bigger shadow here, what did I do? Something like this. So kind of a darker section, which we will erase out. I'm just going to work through this thought here for a few minutes while I have it, and then I will let you all to your evening. Okay, thanks for tuning in, Alessandra. I appreciate you being here. So if I do, sorry, I got too aggressive with my eraser here. Pull this back a touch, and then we go through here like this. So now I would just put shadows in that section, not these ones. That's where highlights would go. Maybe? Okay, I'm going to undo that for now. And I'm going to hide this for now. Actually, I'm going to keep it on there so that I remember that it's there. Okay, so this is part of the experimental part. I figured at this point would be kind of where we were going to have some trial and error because I think there's a lot that I have to figure out. Working at a smaller illustration, the Kraken and the Dragon are like 11 by 17 illustrations. I lied. One of them's 18 by 24. Huge illustrations, so I had a lot more room for the detail to kind of take over. So I think I'm onto something here with kind of the darks and lights and kind of controlling them a little bit more to give it a little bit of life without being too busy. But I'm going to play around with that myself a little bit, experiment over the next week, see where we're at next week. If I have lots of coloring and things that'll be exciting for everybody to watch, we'll finish this piece off. If not, if it's kind of becomes a little bit nitpickier and stuff for me to kind of figure out myself, I'll show you where we're at, and maybe we'll start another one next week. I want to get a few more cards done and then kind of start piecing them together before I go too deep into it to see if these are going to actually work for the cards or not, the way I'm doing them. But for now, I think I'm going to let everybody go for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in on Monday. Thanks for everybody who joined in and commented and enjoyed in the chat. Please check out everybody else's streams. Odari's usually on the weekends. Alessandra's on the weekends. Taking a look for their streaming schedules. I know Odari's looking to switch to YouTube and just kind of getting some technology figured out. So keep an eye on all that. But for now, I'm going to be back here next Monday at the same time. We're probably doing more tarot. If I'm being serious, whether it's this one or another card, I think that's going to be what we're going to be working on. In the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and I'll catch you all next week.